Hello, everyone. This is Ali Belbashir from the International Office. I am an immigration consultant. We have here with us Ms. Alexandra Godin from the Co-op Office as well. We are going to do a presentation on how to apply for a Co-op work permit. We will go step by step. I will explain to you what needs to be done. We will do a demonstration with a case, a student case, and then we will take your questions at the end of this presentation. Alexandra, if you want to take the microphone and do a brief introduction as well, please.
Hi, so as Ali mentioned, my name is Alexandra. I'm a junior co-op advisor at the Co-op Office, and I will be the one following up with you to ensure that you have your co-op work permit, hopefully on time, to start your work term this summer.
Perfect. So let's start. So we'll have an overview of what we will need to do here. So we will do an introduction about the matter about this presentation. What is a co-op work permit? We will generate a document checklist. We will talk about documentation and in some instances missing documents, what you need to do, tricks around that. So you can push an application while trying to get hold of any missing documentation. We will also talk about extending an actual or current study permit while also as well doing an application for a co-op work permit. So that could be also an option. How to generate an application. So we have a case scenario. So we'll do a scenario for a student, not a real student, but a demo student, and we will show you how to do it so you can follow along. We'll talk about online versus paper application. Most of the students apply online, but we will still talk about paper application and when it's suitable. Processing times, how long does it take? What happens is too long? Your placement, your internship is coming soon and you don't know what to do, you don't have the permit. What are the alternatives? What can you do? Or just to give you some information about what to expect and what not to expect. The biometrics, do you need to do them? Yes or no? And if yes, where and when? How to reach an immigration advisor. We are 3 at the office and we will be naming them shortly. And also any additional information. So this info session, I hope this is going to be very informative for you. I really stress the fact that this is for students who are applying inside Canada. We have another presentation for students who are outside Canada. So do not follow this presentation if you are outside of Canada and you want to apply from outside. So we have another YouTube for that. So this presentation is for those who are in Canada and those who need to apply for a co-op work permit. So the introduction, we are 3 accredited regulated Canadian immigration consultants, 2 colleagues and myself. So Alexandra McAllister, Farah Afsawi and myself. We can take your question. We can meet you at the SOS Immigration weekly sessions, which is a drop-in group session. There's nothing private there, but you can ask any technical issues, how to do an application, how to submit, whatever you have about immigration, you can come in and ask your question. So we have other colleague. We have Alexandra. She's present with us today. She's at the Co-op office. She's your #1 asset, I guess, in anything related to Co-op. We work very collaboratively with Alexandra and the Co-op office in this matter. So you will be able to get the information from her as well. So this is a tutorial how to submit, I will say, a normal, typical application for a co-op or internship work permit. If you have any issue, if you have any doubt, if you have something you want to share with us, do not hesitate to book a meeting or come to the SOS Immigration. Don't assume anything. Don't be shy or just be as forthcoming as possible, disclose to us. We are here to help you. We're here to make sure that you get the proper permits so you can do your placement and you get that experience that you need. Quickly, some abbreviation here, acronyms. IRCC stands for Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada. You probably know that. Co-op or internship work permit are both referred as co-op work permits. So very important to have the distinction here. Like if we are talking about co-op, it includes everything, any work or experience that is required within your program is considered or is covered by a co-op work permit. So what is a co-op work permit? Definitions. So the international students who need to perform work that is an essential part of their program of study must apply for a co-op open work permit. I'll give you an example. A nursing student, they need to be placed in hospital, do internship, whether paid or not paid, but most of the time, I mean, I would say 99% of the time you will be paid, but the remuneration is not relevant here. What is important is the fact that this placement, this internship, this co-op work, whatever the name it has, is an integral and essential part of your program. You cannot graduate without it. So if that is the case, then you need to get a co-op open work permit. So it is a work permit specifically for co-op work. So the co-op open work permit give you the authorization to work full-time during your academic term, which is technically usually winter or fall. Usually as well during summer breaks, you can work anyway, any job full-time if that is a break, but a co-op work permit will give you that authorization to work full-time. Full-time means beyond 30 hours a week in a position that is a placement, co-op placement that you got through the university. And you will remain enrolled as well. So that is the authorization you get through the co-op work permit. It does not serve you for anything else. So that's basically what it is. You have other work authorization through your study permit and maybe through other permits, but the co-op work permit gives you specifically the authorization to work full-time in an academic semester. The work portion cannot be more than 50% of the program of study, meaning you cannot have placement, co-op work that exceeds your schooling. So you cannot have more than 50%. And this is anyway validated by the co-op office. You will not get beyond 50% of total program of study. Now to visualize a little bit, so a work permit, this is how it looks like. So we have this example, and by the way, this presentation will be available to you to download in the YouTube video. So you will be able to rewatch this presentation, and under the link of the presentation, you will find a link to this PowerPoint as well. So you can have it. So this is how a co-op work permit looks like. So it has the title work permit, but most importantly, you will see two sections there. It's very variable. Like you will see different information provided, but the key important information that you need to see is it's either will mention that it says co-op work permit in the annotation in the remark at the bottom. Or in the condition as well, but we have highlighted the word. So if you see co-op, or if you see wordings like employment practicum, anything related to work authorization, that is an employment which is part of the studies. So if you see these wording saying that it authorizes you to work as a practicum or work through a program of study, then that is a co-op work permit. And the best case scenario, it will just simply say co-op work permit at the bottom. It is variable. Why? Because the Canada Border Service agent that you will meet, not the Canada Border Service agent, actually the IRCC officer, actually, who will issue the permit, will put the annotation. So sometimes they will put differently, but at the end, it will specifically mention that it is a co-op or it is a permit for placement through your program, for your program of your study. If you have nothing, and I have seen it, some students have just a work permit and no mention whatsoever about anything, scan a copy, send it to us. Let us validate that for you. Just have a look. If we really don't have a clue what it is, because there's absolutely no mention about anything, then we will refer you to IRCC. You need to give them a call and give them the permit number and ask them what type of permit is this. So you really need to do due diligence to make sure that you have the proper permit in your hand. So again, I will reiterate, look at your permit when you receive it. It has to mention that you are authorized to work in co-op, internship, or any wording that will say that the work is part of your program of your study. If you have nothing, come to us to read it and validate for you. And as an ultimate solution, just a quick call. I mean, I'll say quick, but technically call to IRCC, talk to an agent and say, look, I have this permit. I have no mention about what it is exactly. Is this a co-op permit? So make sure you have this permit in hand or in ready for your before your placements. You cannot work without a co-op work permit. You cannot take a co-op placement without a co-op work permit. So the document checklist. So we have the application to change the condition and or extend your stay in Canada. It's IMM 5710, the form itself. This is a general form. So it is a form that is used for students to request a change of condition. Right now, you are students in Canada, and as by the requirement of your study permit, you are supposed to be enrolled full-time as a student. You are supposed to attend and succeed, hopefully, in your classes. You are not allowed to work more than 20 hours a week. You are not allowed to take a co-op placement if you don't have a co-op work permit. So if you have a study permit in hand, but you don't have a co-op work permit, and the reason for this presentation, obviously, you need to request a change to condition, which is applying for a co-op work permit. So this is the form that you will be using, and we will go through this form shortly. Co-op letter. It is a letter that you will receive from the co-op office. So it looks like this. So basically, it has a generic wording saying that student so-and-so is a full-time student at the University of Ottawa in program ABC. And the wording will say that you need to have an internship, you need to have a co-op placement. So this is the co-op letter. So that's what you need to have as well to apply for the co-op permit. So make sure you have that letter. If you don't have it, reach out to the co-op office, reach out to Alexandra. She will be able to help you. You need obviously a passport. So, and this is across the board for any transaction with IRCC, your passport needs to be valid, for the duration of the permit that you need. So make sure that you check the validity of your passport, make sure you renew it, check with your embassy, check with your consulate to see the delays or the processing times that they have for renewing the passport. Don't leave your passport at the last minute. It happens, especially now because of COVID, that some embassies are closed or some consulate, they are still open, but they cannot process passports because of restrictions. They don't have the capacity, whatever that is. So if that is the case, come to us. We'll try to find alternative for a passport issue. So Coming back to the document checklist, the passport, what you need to provide is a scan, a clear scan of your passport. So the biometric page where you have your photo, your information, name, date of birth, and everything. So that is the number one page that we need to have. Also, if there is any visa or any stamps that are present in the other pages of the passport, they need to be scanned as well. If these stamps are in any language that is not English or French, these stamps need to be translated. The digital photo, just simply go to a photograph, give them these instruction, and then you can also ask the photograph to give you a digital copy of your photo. It costs maybe $15 extra, and you have a USB key. You can use that. As an alternative, if you have a good phone, like if you have an iPhone or Samsung, whatever that is, with a good camera, you can ask a friend to take a picture of you in a sunny day, I will say, like with a natural light against the white wall. You crop your face, you just the head of your face with your shoulders, and that's it. So that should do the trick for the photo requirement. If you're not sure, just do the what Ircc asks you to do, which is provide a photo from a photograph, and that also will be perfect. Coming back to the photo, like one thing, don't reuse the same photograph. Like if you have used a photo like a year ago, don't just keep doing it. You can get refused because they want a recent one, and a recent one is something that is not older than 6 months. So don't be lazy on that, if I can say this word. So just take a photo with your phone and crop it, make a new one. And it's not a selfie, so ask a friend, a colleague to take it for you and make sure it is clear. And yeah, so don't reuse something that you have used in the past. Part of the document checklist, the medical exam. This is really important, especially if you are a returning student. If you lived in a country that is designated. So designated, so Canada has, Ircc has, I should say, a list of countries and territories, and a specific list, they call it a designated country medical exams. And if you have lived there for more than 6 months in the past 12 months, then automatically you need to do a medical exam. So when you do a medical exam, you need to contact a panel physician, which is an immigration physician, and they have a list as well, who are the panel physician. The links are here, by the way. So if you need to find out if you lived in a designated country or not. If you lived in Canada, this will not concern me, because Canada is not a designated country to itself. However, let's say, for the sake of the example, let's say that you lived in I don't even know designated countries by heart. So, but let's say that you lived in Morocco, and Morocco happens to be in that list, and you lived more than 6 months in the past 12 months, then you need to find a panel physician and ask them for an upfront medical exam. So you go and you say, this is for immigration purposes. I'm doing a work permit application. I need to do an upfront medical exam. So it has a cost, of course, and as well, the doctors are not always available in your area. So make sure that you get the appointment timely. Also, if you have the intention, and this is regardless where you are going to, where you lived, like whether you are in designated country or not, if your work is related to children, related to seniors, it is in schools and hospitals, in the medical field, then or any similar jobs, you need to do the medical exam as well. So here's a list, like you have worked in healthcare, medical, clinical laboratories, working with seniors, or in a teaching position. whether it's a placement like for short term or not. The only exception, I would say, and this became evident to us now because of the telework or remote work. The only exception is if you don't have direct contact with the client. So let's say that you are in an education program, in a teaching program, for example, and then you're going to have a placement, but you're teaching remotely. So you will be in your house and teaching remotely to students who are somewhere else. So you don't have direct contact. In that case, it's okay not to have done the medical exam. But you don't know the future. Maybe you will go to work in person. So don't skip this part. If you work in any of these categories of employment, make your upfront medical exam. So to summarize, if you lived in a country that is in a designated country list for more than 6 months in the past 12 months, then you need to do the medical exam. Or if you intend to work or have an internship called placement in one of these categories of jobs, and basically working with children, seniors, healthcare, and education, then you need to do a medical exam as well. So it is recommended to do it before. I will say do it before if you want to take my advice. So just there is no way to not to do it. It will just delay the process if you don't do it before. And again, the co-op work permit, honestly, if you do it properly, if you follow our instruction, you will get that permit. There is no reason for you to get refused. Most of the refusal will be technical. There is really no reason, especially if you go through us. If we think that you don't need a co-op work permit or you don't qualify for it, we'll just tell you from the beginning. So we will save you the frustration of a refusal. But if you need a co-op work permit and you follow these instructions, this tutorial, you should get it. So missing documents, and this is also evident now with the pandemic situation. I have seen consulates, they cannot generate new passports. They cannot make new passports for their citizens anymore. So the citizens of these countries, they need to travel back home to their country of origin, do the passport back there and come back. And in some situation, you simply cannot travel. It's unsafe, it's closed, whatever the situation is, and you're stuck in Canada with an expiring passport or with a passport that has expired already. In that situation, it will become a missing document because you don't have a valid travel document. So come to us, we'll try. I mean, through the experiences we had with different students, we have identified tools or resources how to ask and how to push a little bit respectfully, like to the different delegations, and get in time possibly a new passport. So we will give you the full support from our side. If with all the support that you got, still a passport is not available to you, then we will show you how to explain to Ircc and request an exemption from presenting a passport. You need to show proof of effort. You need to show that you really made the effort to do the document and that you are enabled to take it and to have it. And but also you should also mention that you are continuing the efforts to get that document. Ircc has zero interest to give you a temporary residence document without having a passport from you. They really want you to keep your passport in validity, and usually, and most of the time, Ircc will produce a status document or a work permit, if I can say, that is valid to the validity date of the passport itself. So for the sake of example, let's say that you have a passport that still have 8 months in validity, but your program of study is still another 2 or 3 years. You know that you will have to do multiple co-op placements. To save you time, I will say, well, contact your embassy or consulate ask for a brand new passport that has a validity of 5 or 10 years. And so that when you do a co-op or permit application, you have a full validity co-op or permit. You don't need to do this application again and again. So every step is delay, and every delay is uncertainty. So any missing document needs an explanation letter. So you cannot have like one explanation letter for everything. It's like my consulate is closed. I cannot have this document or that document. No, if you have a missing passport, you need an explanation for that. If you have a missing document XYZ, you need an explanation for that. And what you do is basically you upload the explanation letter in the section that you should be uploading the document itself. You don't want the officer to miss it. So when the officer receives the application from their side, they are clicking to find your passport, they don't see it, well, they will see your letter, hopefully. And then it's up to them at the end, honestly, if they want to accept or refuse your application. In some cases, they might be giving you a little bit time to produce the document if they're really nice to you. And also in some cases, even before they open the application, so you place the application now, and after a month, you will receive the document, then we will help you do a web form, which is adding the new passport to the ongoing application, so that to the application that is in process. Extending a study permit. So the study permit will expire soon. There is no reason to do two applications. So you can do an application for a co-op work permit, an application for extension of a study permit at the same time. Actually, the co-op work permit is just a couple of check boxes that you need to check, and that's it. So that's something very, very nice that Ircc have done. Very efficient. I'm really happy they have done it. So basically, if you have an expiring study permit, so you might as well just do the extension, and at the same time, you do the extension and the request for a co-op work permit. So we'll go through the forms when we come to that situation. But you'll still need to upload the co-op letter, of course. So that will be part of the document checklist. So today, we are not doing the extension of the permit. We have a video for that. You can consult it in the you can consult it in our YouTube. You can check the tutorial here as well. So this brings us to do the thing, which is let's make a demonstration with a fake student name, which has been created just for the sake of this this type of presentation for you. So what I will do here, I will open the portal, and then I will switch to that page. So obviously everybody needs to have a GC key. If you do not have a GC key, we have as well a tutorial for that, how to create it, which is GC key means Government of Canada key. It's an identifier. So if you don't have one, we have also a presentation for that. So I'm not showing you today how to do a GC key. It's a quick, straightforward presentation of 15 minutes, and I'm quite sure most of you have it already. Excellent. I'm getting into the okay, perfect. All right. So what I'll do here, I will stop sharing this. and then share my new account, the IRCC account. Okay, Alexandra, do you see my, well, the account of IRCC here?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you. So this is all fake, okay? So this is a created name, so Isabella. And this is how your portal should look like. So we have no ongoing application. If you have past application, it will be shown here. It's not here. So what you need to do is just apply to come to Canada. And we're going to answer a series of questions to identify. And this is what I want you to do in your own case. So you scroll down the page and click on visitor. What do you want to do? Like apply for a visitor, study, or work permit? Yeah, that's what I want to do. Then let's answer these basic questions. So what do you want to do in Canada? I want to work. For how long? More than 6 months, temporarily, but more than 6 months. Then select the code of your passport. So basically, what is your nationality? So Isabella, she's from Argentina. So you select your nationality. If you are a dual citizen, if you have 2 citizenship, you choose the passport you want to choose. So if you are from Morocco, but also citizen of Brazil, at the same time, for whatever reason, you have dual citizenship. If you have a passport and that's what you want to use, that's what you choose here. But for most of the common student will have only 1 citizenship, so you just put your citizenship. Where do you reside? You are in Canada. So since this application is for in Canada, so you're here. Do you have a family member who is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident and is 18 years of or older? So by family member, if you click on this link, it means a spouse, common law partner, or a child dependent. So you will just say, I'll just take a simple example like a single student. So I'll say no, I don't have anybody who's a Canadian citizen or PR, date of birth. I'm just putting this from my head. So obviously you put the proper information. Are you a lawful permanent resident of the US? And do you have a green card, basically, with the United States? So you say no, unless you have it. What is your current immigration status? I am a student. Isabella is a student, so that's what you enter. Do you plan to work on campus? So I'm going to answer in a certain way to generate a co-op work permit. So this is not related to your intention to work with your study permit. So just answer exactly as I do here. So the answer will be no. Are you a full-time student participating in a post-secondary institution and want to work off campus up to 20 hours? The answer is no. Have you currently graduated from a post-secondary institution? The answer is no. Now you will say yes. Is your work an essential part of your studies? For example, co-op or internship? Say yes. So answering no, no, no before and yes here will make sure that we're going to the right direction, which is what I want to do, generate a checklist for co-op work permit. So say yes now. Have you been told by immigration, by IRCC, that you are approved in principle for PR? So if you have an application in process and you have been approved, you say yes or no, but in this case, we will say no. Have you submitted a permanent resident application? You say no. If you did, you say yes, because there is reasons why they are asking these questions. Do you have a written job offer? No, I don't have a written job offer. What is your marital status? So you choose what applies, but for this case, single. What is your province of destination? Ontario. Keep it simple. Whether you live in Gatineau or Ottawa, your destination, just enter it as Ontario. So this is the result of the first step of the questionnaire. So there's two options here, temporary resident visa, co-op in Canada. So that's what we want to do. So let's continue with that option. So we need to still answer a series of more questions. Are you accompanying a family member who has status in Canada? So if you are alone as a student, then you say, no, I'm not accompanying anybody. Do you also want to apply for a study permit? No, I'm not applying for a study permit. I have a study permit, I'm applying for a co-op permit. So when does your status expire? So this is the time you take out the study permit and you look at it. So you enter the date when the study permit is expiring. So let's pretend here that you still have 2 years. So you just look at the study permit, and so we'll say that you're finishing in 2024, July 31st. So you just simply look at the expiration date in your current study permit and you put it here. Have you had a medical exam performed by Ircc, authorized physician, doctor, in the last 12 months? I will say no. If you did, say yes. Have you lived in a designated country or territory for more than 6 months? So this is what I explained earlier. If you have been outside of Canada and you are in that list of countries, and you just follow the link that we provided in the presentation to find out if your country is a designated country for medical. So if you need to answer yes or no, so I'll say no. We're taking an example of somebody who has been here for a couple of years in Canada studying, never left. So the answer to this question will be no. Now, the tricky question, find out if you need this, because if you're a student in an education program or in a healthcare, you will be really stuck, because the permit will say it clearly, not authorized to work with elderly people, not authorized to work with children, not authorized to work in a healthcare. So if you work in these fields, say yes, and that will generate the medical exam request. So we will say no. So let's say somebody is studying statistics, they're only working with numbers, and they're not seeing they're not in these jobs. Do you want to submit an application for a family member? So this is where, if you're married or in a common law or you have children with you, then you will say yes. However, we said single, no dependent, no spouse. So that's for the simplicity's sake of this case. Do you want to assign or give access to somebody else? So if you have a representative, if you have a friend, family member, you say yes, and then you fill the proper forms. But in this case, we'll just say no. It's only you who have access to your own file. In the past 10 years, have you given your fingerprints, your biometric, to come to Canada? So if that was done initially before coming to Canada in the process of doing the visa application, then you say yes. If you have never done it, then you say no. So I will say that yes in this case, assuming that that was done before. Find out if you are eligible to apply. Okay, so let's find out, are you able to make a digital copy? So this is straightforward question. So can you scan? Yes, I can scan. And by the way, there is a super nice application, and there's a lot of them, but there's one is called Genius Scan. So Genius like genius. And it's really very efficient, quick, good quality, but any app that gives you a good scan will work very well. Do not take pictures. Pictures are not good, just pictures, because sometimes the image is distorted. It's obviously very nice, like to have a real scan with a flatbed scanner, but if you have an app in your phone and it's made for running, that's perfect. So to answer this question is yes. So we have built the application. Let's say that we have made a mistake. We can always modify the answer by clicking on the pencil here, and then you can select the correct answer. So I think I did answer correctly, so I'm happy with this. I continue. These are the instructions: how to scan, how to upload, how to reduce things. You can read it, please read it. I know it by heart, but you don't, so take the time to read it once. We continue. Congratulations, we have our checklist, and this checklist is valid for 60 days, but apply as soon as possible. So we have a couple of forms, and we'll go through the forms. So the first one is the IMM 5710. We talked about it, so I'll download it, and then we will go through it. We have also the family information 5707. I have a couple of observations to tell you about it. It's a very simple application, as you can see. And what you need to upload here is a co-op letter, a copy of the passport, digital photo. This part, Schedule 1, ignore it. Don't fill it. You're not, even if you fill it, it says optional. I would say it's useless. I don't know why they put it here. The system generates this here. So just ignore it. Don't fill it. Keep it there. You're not going to get a visa if you fill it. It's not going to happen. Now, the client information, do not ignore it. This is an optional in the optional part, but please, it's always nice to write some explanation what you want to do, and if there's also any details you want to give about the application that you cannot capture in the form. So let's say you are filling the form, but you need to give some details. You cannot put it in the itself, then the client information is very important. Now, if you have absolutely nothing to say, just brag a little bit about yourself. So just say, look, I'm an international student in an engineering program, and part of my studies is to do a co-op placement. So far, I have been advancing very nicely in my classes. I'm an A student, and I request a co-op work permit. I thank you for your collaboration. It's always nice to say these, like it just makes it easier to the officer to say, yes, this person deserves that type of work permit. So don't leave it blank, but also don't talk like just for the sake of talking. So just say like some relevant information about why you need this. Now, once you fill all the required documentation here at the end, well, there is no cost for this permit. So once you do everything, you will have another button here, which is like proceed to payment. So you continue, you will make the declaration that all the information is truthful. You will sign it online. And then once you sign that, you will go to the payment page. Well, actually, there's no payment page, basically just submitting the application. Once the application is submitted, you will receive a copy, the application receipt or submission confirmation letter, print it, and keep it to yourself. Alexandra, I'm not sure, do you request a copy of that at the co-op office?
No, we don't need a copy. We just need to know your application date.
Okay, so keep it for your archive, you know, just in case if you it takes too long, you know, to process and you're not you're concerned, then you can come to us, and then we with that document we can proceed with other requests to IRCC to accelerate if that is needed, of course. So this is the checklist. Again, this is available for 60 days, after which, if you don't submit it, it will simply disappear from the portal. But again, don't delay, and it's straightforward. So let's go to the form. So when you click on the form itself to download it, it gives you this message: please wait. And I have done this. I have said it in different presentation. I'm a very patient person. I have been waiting for 2 days initially when I started my career. And after 2 days, that was the end of my patience. But don't do my mistake, which is basically just download this document. There is no waiting here. You're not going to see anything happening. So you come to this disk icon, click on it, and you come to a specific folder. So create a new folder. and under your desk, and give it a name. So call it co-op or permit, just to get things organized, not messy. And well, it has a name, IMM 5710. It does not mean anything to me, these codes, so I will just give it a proper name. It's like co-op WP or permit app. So something so I can know what that form is. So that's there. So the other form that I need is the family information, 5707. Again, it doesn't say anything, but it's trying to load. Let's put it in the same folder and give it more detail about the name. So it's family info and keep it there. Now, the next step will be just to browse through your desktop. So we go there and you open the form. So I think you don't see what I'm seeing here, but I will open the form and then I will share it with you. So I'm opening EMM 5710, which is a co-op work permit application. Obviously, you need to have a PDF reader. So you need to have Adobe Acrobat Pro, Adobe Acrobat DC, Adobe Acrobat Reader, or any other PDF reader that you have, but you need to have a PDF reader. I use Adobe, it works for me, but you might have any other version for PDF reader. So what I will do here is I'm going to stop the sharing because it's somewhere else, and I will share the PDF itself. Alexandra, do you see the PDF?
Yes, we can see.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so first of all, this is a form that you do not need to print. This form needs to be filled in your computer, saved, validated, or actually validated and saved, and then uploaded as is. So you don't need to print it, you cannot sign it. This is basically you fill it on your laptop or desktop, and then immediately you upload it. So let's go through the questions that I think you need to have information about. Most of the questions are straightforward, so you answer the question, but I'll go step by step. We have 5 pages, we'll go as we need, like, to explain the different sections. So UCI stands for Unique Client Identifier. This is an identification number that belongs to you. This is your identity number for immigration purposes. It is a number that will stay with you for your life, for any transaction or any business you do with Immigration Canada. So it's a unique client identifier. Usually it's an 8-digit number. So we have 8 numbers, or sometimes it's a 10. It starts with 11. So you can find that in a number in any immigration document. So you can look in your study permit and you will see your UCI there. Like it will say UCI, and you will have the 8-digit number there or the 10-digit number. So if you know it, you should have it, you should find it, and you just simply type it here. You select the service in the language you want. So that's the language that Ircc will talk to you in French or in English, will respond with you. Now, number 3, you check apply for a work permit for the first time with a new employer. Check here. You don't check anywhere else. Full name, so use the name as it is in your passport. So family name, given name. If you don't have, I mean, for some nationalities, there is no given names, or it's like a mix-up of just put everything under a full name. So you always need a surname here, like, and it happens usually with the student from India or from the region of that word, you know, around India. But if you don't have a given name, at least the full name. And again, you see the star here. Any question that has a star is mandatory. If you don't answer it, the form will not validate. You cannot have a validated form. Now, in question 2, have you used other names in your life, nicknames and everything? So you can say yes or no, depending on the situation. And then you need to show any variation of your name or any other names that have been used. Now, now we will jump to the number 6, citizenship, specifically for dual citizen. So if you want to use a passport of a specific country instead of another one because you have 2 nationalities, this is where you put the citizenship. You have to choose yourself under which nationality you want to apply. Current situation in Canada, residency situation, so you just put student and you put the date you entered and the end date of your study permit. Number 8, have you lived in any other country other than Canada and your country of origin, of nationality? Have you lived in the past 5 years somewhere else? So you answer yes or no. So this happens a lot for students who lived in the Middle East. So let's say a student is from India, but they lived in the Middle East because they were accompanying their parents. So that's the spot where you need to put it. Otherwise, if you came straight from your country of citizenship to Canada, you just say no. And we are only interested in for the past 5 years, no more than that. Marital situation. So if you're married, you will say, yes, I'm married, divorced, whatever that is. But if you're just single, you just mention single. So it will gray everything. If you are married, it will ask you for the information about date of marriage and the person you are married to. And they are asking as well, is this person Canadian? Yes or not, or PR. Have you been married before? Yes or no? If you have been married, who was that person? And what type of relationship was it? Was it common law or marriage? And when did it start? When did it end? Languages. So now this is about your native language, and this is very detailed. So you find your native language as much as you can. It is very detailed, but it doesn't have all the languages, obviously. However, question B is, which language are you able to communicate in? So English or French or both. So you select, and this is where you don't really brag. You know, if you're not really good in the other language, don't say it. You know, so we don't want to assume that you're a good speaker in both languages, and then if they communicate with you in that language, you will be stuck. So if just mention the languages you're really good at in terms of communication. And even if you are bilingual, you can still choose in which language you want to communicate. You still have that choice. But for the sake of the example, let's say you only speak English. Now the passport. So obviously, and this is very important. So you put the passport number. Again, as I mentioned, make sure that the passport has a validity that exceeds your stay in Canada to finish your studies. But now, this is a tricky question. It says country of territory of issue. So let's say you are an Indian student and you got your passport from the High Commission of India in Ottawa. Don't put Ottawa the country of issues. Just put the country of citizenship, the country to which the passport belongs. So this is a tricky question. I see some errors. Some students get their passport printed in Canada in their consulate, and if you read the passport itself, it will say issued in Montreal or issued in Ottawa, and you will think the answer to the question will be Canada. The answer is not Canada. The question itself is, if I can rephrase the question, I will say, to which country your passport belong? As simple as that. So just put your nationality. So put the nationality of your passport. Issue date, when was it issued? Expiration date as well. Now, national ID, some countries, they issue like a small document called national identity card. So if that is your case and you have a national ID, you have to answer it. Do I have one? Yes or no? So if you do have one, then you will need to put the number. We're talking about your driver license in Canada. We're not talking about any document in Canada that you received or any other document that you got from a third country. Let's say you have a PR card from Germany. That's not the question. The question is, do you have a national ID from your country? So if you have it, yes. If you're in a country where there is no identity card, so simply just say no. Now, again, mentioning that this is not an obligation to answer these questions, given the number and country of issue, but if you want to provide the information, some countries don't have an issue date, some countries don't have an expiration date, some countries have both. So answer as much as you can, and of course, if you have the card. Now I will jump to the next important point in this form, which is the contact information. You are in Canada currently. And what I see very often is students miss apartments. So you live in a building that has maybe 10 units, or it has like 200 units. Imagine like it's the document, the co-op work permit will be delivered to the street address of the building, but no unit number. So it will be just there, and anybody can grab that permit, or it just simply will be lost or tossed like in the recycling. People don't know. People don't know this is a government document. It's important to you. And it gets lost, because when I check with a student who's just asking me, well, I never received it. I say, well, show me the form, and I find out that they just forgot to put the unit number. I know it seems very straightforward, but I'm stressing this point. Make sure your mailing address is correctly filled. So the unit number is your apartment number. The street number is the civic or street number, like the building number or the house number. If you don't have an apartment number because it's a house, that's totally perfect. Please, if you live in an apartment and it's like multiple units, you don't want to lose that document. So the rest is straightforward. Now, the next question, number 2, will be, think about your future 6 months. Like, are you staying in the same location? I know there's a lot of people who move around, because they have better rent, and or sometimes, it's summer vacation, they need to move out from residence. So if your residential address is your current mailing address, but you know that you will move out, or you don't have access to it, in the next couple of months, then you can choose a different mailing address. It could be a friend, somebody who has an address and they are there, or you can even rent a postal address from Post Canada or from a UPS store, and that could be a permanent, permanent mailing address during your stay in Canada. It has a cost, obviously. It costs about $20 a month, but at least it's not going to be lost. But as an alternative, if this is in case that you're moving out, in the couple of few months, if you know that you might move out, then use a more stable address where the people who live there will tell you, yes, we received mail and it's here, so they can give it to you. It's totally perfect to have a current mailing address that's different from residential address. So if your residential address, all what we need to know here is, where do you sleep? Like, where is it that you rent, and nothing will be sent to you here. But the mailing address is very important. That's where you will receive the, the permit, the paper document. Now, phone number, enter your phone number. Most likely they will call you, but it's still there. What is important is number 6, email address. Most of communication will come there. So if they have a question, they have an update, they will send you an email. Next page. So clarifying some question here, date of place of your original entry to Canada. This is the first time ever in your life that you entered Canada. When was it and where was it? So when I say where, mention the airport. So I came to Trudeau International Airport, not just Montreal Airport. There is a couple of airports that are internationals in Montreal. So name the airport, they have names, or Pearson International Airport. Whatever the point of entry, it could be also by land. So if it was by land, so the the land crossing name, you know, if Saint Bernard de la Colle, for example, we can mention that. So this is the question relating to the first time in your life you entered Canada, and when was it, and then why, what was the reason. So for the sake of simplicity, let's say before coming as a student, you never came to Canada. So the only entry was coming to, let's say, to Pearson Airport, and the reason was to come to study. So they just mentioned study. Now, question 3 is a little bit different, which is your most entry to Canada. This will apply if, let's say you came and initially you came 2 years ago, and last year you went home on vacation. So it will be different dates. So the last entry will be the last entry, obviously. So you mentioned the date when you last entered and the place. So what airport, if it was the same airport or different. Question 4. They need the number of your most recent immigration document. So you have a study permit. So you look at, there is a number at the top right section, it's in black, bold. So that's the number that you need to provide. It's not in red. So top right section of your study permit, and it's a series of numbers, and it starts with a letter. Usually it's an F letter or a U letter, depending, but that number, that's what you put here in the document number. Details of intended work in Canada. So what do you want? I want a co-op or permit, whether that is an internship, placement, whatever the name of your intended placement, just put co-op or permit. Now, everything else here is not really relevant, but you can fill it. So because why it's not relevant, it's not obligatory to fill it because it does not have a star next to it. If you want to fill the name of the employer, you can write the University of Ottawa. Address of the employer, you can put the address of the University of Ottawa. But again, province Ontario, city Ottawa, you can put all the information as if your employer is the University of Ottawa. It's not important if you find a job in Manitoba or in British Columbia, you will still be able to work with a co-op or permit as long it is provided through the placement with the University of Ottawa. Now, again, this section is not an obligation to be filled because it does not have the star next to it. But if you want to be complete, you can fill that information, job title, you can put co-op student, and a brief description, you can put co-op placement. Now, duration of expected, 1 second, please, if you don't mind. Sorry, guys. Thank you for your patience. I'm back with you. So I was at the description. So you can put the brief description as co-op placement. The duration, you put the date of today, the date you are filling this form, until the date your study permit finishes. So don't think like when, like just don't make it too hard on you, like to find out like when will be your last placement. It's really not important. So just find the end date of your study permit and put it here. Now, education, straightforward, you put here the information. I'm a student at the University of Ottawa, even though you did not complete your program, fill it here. Employment, this is not just about jobs. This is about your activity. So it includes being a student, it includes being unemployed. So if you are a typical student, which is like you have been primary, secondary, and now a university, post-secondary education, you can just go step by step. All what we want to know is your life in the past 10 years, and it has to be back to back without any gap. Now, having said so, if you have work experience, yes, you can put it as well, but you will not have enough space. So you need to create a different document, a Word document with a table, and you need to add that Word document to the client information. But for the sake of simplicity, just put student here, like from the date you enter until the date of today. student university institution is University of Ottawa, city, Ottawa, obviously, and Canada. Now, before you have been in high school, you can put the same thing, high school ABC, occupation student. You were in Rabat, Morocco, and you continue until you fill the 10 years. So we're in 2021 now, you have to go down until 2011. Again, if you have more information to provide, create an additional section or Word document, but you cannot add it here. So you need to add it in the client information. And the Word document, you will call it addendum, and you will say addendum to IMM 5710, employment section, continued. Background information, so straightforward, have you been sick? Have you had any sickness, whatever? So you say yes or no. If you say yes, contact us, because that could be a reason for refusal. So contact us because we'll help you first, answer correctly and also explain in your explanation letter, to capture the key information to mention. Now, here as very important here, if have you remained beyond the validity of your status, or have you worked without authorization in Canada, yes or no? You have to be fully disclosing this information. You cannot lie, and it's better to be forthcoming, say the truth, and give an explanation and ask for mercy rather than trying to hide and being caught. If you are caught lying, that's something that will be costly to you, and ultimately you can be removed from Canada. It has really high consequence sometimes. Now, the key thing that I want you, have you been refused for a visa or work permit? And read the question completely. Have you ever been refused a visa or a permit, denied entry or ordered to leave Canada or any other country? So people think this question is just about Canada. This question is about any other country, including Canada. So if you have the refusal in the US, for example, or any other country, answer truthfully. So yes, I had a refusal. I applied for the US and they refused me. So because if you say no, they will find it in the system, and Canada share information and get information from different countries, and they will refuse you because you lied to them. So you're hiding something. So now question C should be yes for everybody, because have you ever previously applied to enter and remain in Canada? You should say yes, because you are in Canada and you have a study permit. So basically you say, yes, I applied for a study permit and I received it. So in 2018, for example. Very short. Now everything else is about criminality, so answer it yes or no. Again, if you have any yes in this question, come to us, please. This is for at the signature part, this is for statistical part only. And you say yes or no. And it's up to you. So Ircc will share your information to just improve, I guess, their service delivery to the clients. And it will share with other partners like CBSA. At the end, this is not going to be signed. You just type your name here in the signature field and also just put the date of today. And you click on the validate button. Once you click on this button, it will generate another page with the barcodes. You save the document and then you upload it. There is no printing. There is no signing of this document. So this completes, I know there's a couple of questions, but I'll come to you. I want to finish the other form, which is quick. But this completes the form itself. I'm going to stop the sharing and I will go to the second document. Okay, so I will be sharing this document as well. Family information. Alexandra, do you see the family information form?
Yeah.
Thank you. So the family information is, I would say it's kind of an annoying form if you are single, because if you are single and you don't have kids, you will have to sign this 2 pages 3 times. But the rest is straightforward. I'll tell you where people miss information. So you basically answer the questions. What is your name? So you type your name as it is in your passport. Marital status, you choose whatever that is. Then date of birth, but most people make a mistake here. They either forget to fill this part, which is country of birth, or they put their city of birth. So if somebody is born in Paris, for example, then they write Paris. We're not interested to know what city are you born in. We just want the country. And the other type of mistake will be like for your parents, mother and father, they also forgot to put the country of birth. So this is where people miss, like they just skip it. So remember to put it, if you don't know the country of birth, put unknown. If this is a very rare situation, but most people know the country of birth of their parents, or if it's mentioned. So now, the other type of omission I will say is you put your address and you forget to put Canada at the end, the country. Okay, so you put your address here. Your occupation is student, obviously, nothing else, even if you have a part-time job. Now, if you have a spouse, this is a spot for it. If you have a spouse or common law partner, and again, the information relating to the spouse, their address, the country of their, like address, full address with the country of residence, where they are, and their occupation. Are they coming with you? Are they applying right now in this application with you? Yes or no? Now, for mother and father, so this is straightforward, same observation. Don't forget the country of birth. Don't forget the country of the address. So if you say 123 University Street, Washington, well, I guess this is in the USA, but I'm not assuming. So put USA. So it could be Washington, Tunisia. I don't know. I'm just inventing this from my head, but for the sake of completeness, make sure that you have the countries here. If the parent is deceased, you just put the country where they passed away and the date. Again, you put non-accompanying here because most of the time they are not here. Last section here, like quick remark about parent. This is because for same-sex partners that are both parents, so the non-biological parent, you put the information here. If you have a biological parent, and you should have, I mean, if you do have it, and your birth certificate, this is where you enter it. But if you have a second or third parent in your birth certificate, then that's where you enter the non-biological parent here. So it could be any parent who's not biological. Now, in most cases, the students are single, so you have to make a special declaration here. I certify that I do not have a spouse or a common law partner. So when you are filling the form, just enter the date. So the date will be typed. However, remember, when you print this form, you need to sign it. Okay, so don't forget this. So this is the first signature that you need to mention here. Again, if you do not have children, you just type not applicable or NA, but you can put it here, not applicable, and put the date here, anticipating a second signature, which is a declaration. I certify I do not have any natural, adopted, nor stepchildren. This includes like children by marriage. If you do have children, obviously you fill this section and you say if they're coming with you or not in this application. They will still have their own application to mention, you know, so that it will be mentioning if they're coming to Canada with you. So the third signature will be certifying that the information is complete, truthful, and that Ircc is authorized to check on you. So again, put the date. Now you cannot sign here, cannot type. That's not what we want from you. What we want is you print this form, sign it, then scan it. This is not a smart form. This is not an intelligent form. It's not to be validated like the other form, 5710. This is a form to be printed, signed 3 times. Remember, 3 times. Signed 3 times and then uploaded. So this completes the family information. So what I'll do, I will go back to the presentation and then we will continue presentation. So here. So I'm back to the PowerPoint. Do you see it, Alexandra?
Yes.
Thank you. So we did the demo. Excellent. I'm really proud of this. Hopefully it was very informative. If I missed anything, make sure you come back to us with a question, either by email, and we'll talk about how you communicate with us later on. But make sure you come back to us. It will help us improve the next presentation in the next semester. So online versus paper. I will say most of the application, the vast majority of the applications will be online. And that's what you really want to do. And that's to your advantage. Why? Because it was really, I'm talking like an old person now, like it was really a mess before. And why? Because you send a paper application in and you're waiting for a confirmation that Ircc got your application. And that's so stressful. Did they receive it? Yes or no? Was it lost? So now when you apply online, it's relatively quick. You know, within 24 hours, you have a submission confirmation and you have a clarity that your status is still valid. You have the maintained status in case you are doing an extension of a co-op or permit, but you know that the application is in the system and is going to be processed. So you can always refer to it and request an update to it if you need to. So in all situations, this is for your own interests and also for the best business for Ircc. Please, please, please apply online. If you need help, we will try as much as possible to help you. Do it. We will not represent you, so we will help you do it. Or if you really need help but you don't want to do it, you can hire somebody to do it. Like you can hire an immigration consultant or an immigration lawyer to do it, obviously with a cost. But again, this is a straightforward application with the proper indication and instruction like these videos, and with a typical case that is not complicated, you should be able to do it on your own. But if you really need help and that is pushing you to apply in paper, then seek that help, pay for the service with the outside private consultant. Now, there are some situations you cannot. You really need to do in paper. So there is a way to generate a paper application and it's a case specific. So request a meeting with us and we'll help you just technically generate the paper document. And you need to explain why you're doing this paper application. You have a disability and there is some issues specific that are pushing you not to do an application online. I'll have a specific case for you just for the sake of the example, why you need to do a paper application. Let's say we want to apply online and the system is down. And it has been down for the past 2 days and you're stressing out, like the study or the work permit, the current co-op work permit that you have maybe is expiring and you want to apply, and the only way to apply right now is paper. The fact that you post through Canada Post before the expiration of a document, that will give you the maintained status. So that is a case where you really need to go to paper application. It's not the preferred way. But again, I don't want you to come to the last minute trying to submit an online application and counting on the system to be on. The system can be down from Ircc. You can lose your internet connection, whatever can happen in wherever you live, and then you cannot submit online. So there are like last minute situations that we really need to do a paper application, and there is also the disability, obviously, where you need to do a paper application instead of an online. But again, to emphasize, online is always the best, and it's the best for you, for your own interest. Processing times. In short, we don't know. So this is in short. So you can check online status, whatever Ircc is posting, but I have seen a disparity of like treatment. Some students get their permit in 6 weeks. Some students are waiting 10 months, which is frustrating, but it's absolutely not clear. I can say safely, expect 2 months, I can say that, and this is coming from me. Like I'm in no way like inside Ircc. I don't know what they have in terms of work. And right now they have announced, and they are still announcing that they are really backlogged. They are prioritizing the Afghanistan applications. So apply ahead, apply really as soon as you can, and don't delay. So you can always check online your status of the application. You can always ask for an urgent processing, and we have a video how to request an urgent processing, and you need to have a reason for that. So you need to be convincing, because just sending an application for processing because you just want to have your permit in your hand is not a reason. So plan ahead. Don't be late in your application. And when I say ahead, at least 6 months ahead. But as soon as you can, don't stress yourself. Biometric. The good news about this is because of the pandemic, you don't need to do it. So there is a temporary measure. If you're currently in Canada and you have never done biometric, your the offices in Canada that are supposed to take the biometric are closed. And this measure is only for people who are in Canada. So if you need to talk to us, and I highly encourage you to come to the Teams meeting. We have a weekly virtual drop-in. We call it SOS Immigration. Basically talk about anything. You can just come and listen. So you will learn from experiences. So we are not intelligent, like we are just experienced people. We have seen things, we have tried things, and we know what works, what does not work. Don't be alone in your struggle. So come, ask your question. And again, this is not a private one-on-one meeting. This is a group question. So if you have anything confidential, anything that is sensitive, don't share it. And if you're sharing it, I mean, it's by your own will. So this is not the place to share sensitive information, but this is the place to ask, what is the form? I have this question. I am not sure how to answer it. The form does not want to validate. I have been waiting for 10 weeks and I have nothing. So, and maybe you will listen to other students, they have been waiting for 5 months. So that will relatively give you an idea where Ircc is. So I highly recommend you come in. Most of the students are highly also satisfied with the meetings. If you need to talk about something specific about you that will be confidential or very technical about you, then you can request a meeting appointment. There is a delay, but there is 3 of us, and we try to prioritize as much as possible. And if you have a deadline, say it in your booking appointment in the booking of your appointment, and say, I have a deadline. I received a letter from the co-op office, and my placement is coming in January. So we'll try our best to meet you as soon as possible, but we are really available for you to meet you personally. But this is also like on Teams, so it's online. So everything is virtual, everything is remote right now. Now, lastly, if you have a quick question, send it to the international office email. Clearly ask your question, say the urgency, if there is any urgency about it. For example, I have a lot of students sending me a copy of their work permit that they received when they entered Canada. and they're like, I'm not sure what I have. Is this a co-op work permit? So yes, I can read it, check it, and tell you yes, it is. No, it's not. Or it could be simply, I'm doing this program. I think this placement does not need the co-op work permit. Can you validate yes or no? Most of the time, I will say yes, you need the co-op work permit. But sometimes, very rare times, I will tell you no, you don't need the co-op work permit for this activity. So if you have a specific question, and that just require like a quick answer, then you can also ask. But anyway, these are the ways to get hold of us. You know, we are here for you, and we're happy to help you. So it's really very fulfilling. Like we are really happy to serve you. Now, we have developed a series of FAQ, frequently asked questions. It's very detailed. It takes a lot of our time, and we do update it regularly. So please go through it. So, and sometimes it is because it's very detailed, you can get lost. So before contacting us, try your best, please. Try your best to read and to find your answer there. If you cannot find it, don't stress too much. Get hold of us. So don't be shy to request a meeting. Don't be shy. What really matters to you. It's not really a general FAQ. So we have information sessions, so you can follow the link here and to see any different information session about immigration. We have very interesting ones that we do like the information session that I'm doing right now. And they are also being recorded. So if you miss it, then that's fine. You can still like you can watch the videos later on. There are a couple of sessions that are done by partners in the community that are done with Immigration Canada itself. They are not recorded, so you really need to come in person to watch it and to ask your questions. So this completes the presentation. So what I'll do here, I will stop the sharing and I will Alexandra, maybe I will give you the microphone if you want to say something before we take the questions, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. So for us at the Co-op office, most of you have received our email where we ask you to apply by our first deadline, which was December 6th. So this deadline was just a few weeks ahead. We are just wanting to make sure that you would be able to receive your co-op work permit before your summer work term. We will follow up with you again in January when we come back from the holidays.
Okay, perfect. So that's for the co-op office. They're there for you. They will try their best to tell you yes or no, but the clarity you will get it from us. So either from the international office, from the co-op office. We're here to make sure that you're doing the right thing and not to be confused. So the last thing we want you is to be confused and to not to know what needs to be done and what these things needs to be done. Now, I will go quickly. So it's your chance to put the questions in the chat. I'm going through the questions here one by one, and hopefully I'll be able to answer all of them. If I can't, please write me an email. So may I know when is the meeting for those who are applying from outside? There is no meeting for those applying from outside because we already created a video about how to apply from outside. So if you need to know how to apply from outside of Canada because you're outside of Canada, then send an email to UO International, to the international office, and we will just be happy to send you the link to the YouTube. So we have it, we have done it before. So you just need to watch the YouTube that we have already have done. Yeah, same inquiry for a lot of people here because probably you're stuck outside, you're studying online and you've never been able to come. So yeah, so the video is available for you. Alexandra, you answered that question. Excellent. Thank you. Again, if you have any question about anything, come to the SOS, like any technical question about applying from outside. So if you're coming, so now I'm out of Canada, but I will come to Canada on 16th of January. Does it work for me? So I will ask you to apply once you're in Canada. Obviously, if you come on the 16th of January, you're coming to study like your regular classes, not to be in the co-op placement. So coming on the January, apply from inside Canada, as I demonstrated today, and that's it. So if you're coming in January, your co-op placement will be in the summer. That should be enough time to get your work permit. If you're coming in Canada in January and you want to start to work, that's not going to happen. I think that's almost impossible to receive everything in time, like even if you apply from outside now. If we have already done a medical exam in the last 4 months prior to arriving in Canada with this, so yeah, this is a very good question. A medical exam is valid for 12 months. So if you have done it before, you can just reuse it. So just use the e-medical sheet that you received from your panel physician back home, and you can use it again. The medical is valid for 12 months. I have applied for the extension of the study permit in September, but it has not been approved yet. Should I apply for a co-op permit separately once it has been approved, or can I apply for a work permit with my current study permit, which expires at the end of December? So if I understand this question correctly, you have applied for a study permit extension, but you did not select in the checkbox that you also wanted a co-op work permit. So if that is the case, I will quickly send a web form asking the Ircc officer to also issue a co-op work permit at the same time, because you're lucky enough not to have the study permit approved. But if your web form or your additional request to say, look, I have missed the question about asking for a co-op work permit, but I really need it. So can you also issue a co-op work permit? You also need to apply from the web form the documentation related to co-op work placement, which is the co-op letter. Then I would say, you know what, just book a meeting with one of the international student advisor, and we'll help you do that. We'll help you write your explanation letter. So don't delay, ask for a meeting. This is where you really want to catch, the application before it's approved. If your application gets approved only for a study permit because you forgot to ask for the co-op work permit, then you can ask for a co-op work permit. So yeah, ask for a meeting with one of us and one of the consultants, and we will help you do the proper procedure quickly. I think if you apply for the co-op work permit in this ongoing application, then it will be perfect. I see the hand there. I'll come to you. I just want to let you know that if you are talking, this is a recorded session, so your voice will be recorded. I'm all okay talking to you live, but it will be recorded if you are consenting to ask your question live and to have the answer live as well. So just raise your hand and I'll be with you. I'm just going through the session now. So you missed your first part of the session. This is recorded. No worries, you will be able to see it. We'll have it in our YouTube channel very shortly, hopefully this week. Excellent. Thank you, Alexandra. Yeah, I will give you the permission to open your mic. So if you request you can request a personal appointment. What I will share here with everybody is I have a PDF document. This is how to book a meeting with an immigration consultant. Keep it with you. It has links. about booking meetings, and you can just book yourself your own meeting. So let me just find that form. Here. So it's a PDF document, and I'm sharing with everybody. So just open it. There is 2 links, and you can use any one of the 2 links to book your meeting with the time that works for you. Now, Carolina, as I said, this is a live session, and if you're okay to talk, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. So I had a couple of questions. The first one was when I completing the form, it says put your family name as it is in your passport. In my passport, as well as my acceptance letter, as well as my co-op letter, it's with my last name is Gonzalez, and it has an accent mark on the A. But the form does not allow me to put an accent mark on the A.
The Latin what?
Sorry, what?
What is the form not allowing you to do?
To put the accent mark on the A, Gonzalez.
Like, oof,
yeah.
Look, just put A, simply A.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a variation. Like, I will not say it's something that you need to mention as like another way to write your name. Because, yeah, just put A. Let's keep it simple. Even in French, look, even in French, we have different accents, and it's okay, you know, even though that you have an accent, it's just to put the letter itself without the accent with it. So it's not a variation of your name. It's still, it's an accent. So forget the accent and just to validate the form.
Okay. The second question was, if I'm applying to the study permit and the work permit at the same time, in the part of client information, do I have to submit 2 letters, like one of the letter of explanation for the study permit and then another one for the co-op?
No, I will just put one submission letter or explanation letter, and one paragraph will be just talking about, I would like also to obtain a co-op or permit. You have seen, I have attached a copy of my co-op letter. And I am in program ABC, which is with the co-op option. And I appreciate if you can give me the co-op work permit as, you know, just one paragraph, not too much talking. Okay. But I'm talking too much, but I'm just trying to emphasize that, mention it in one short paragraph.
And in the example you gave, you said, I'm an A student. Do we say the grades? Do I say the grades I'm getting, or?
No, yeah, you can say, well, I don't, depends what type of grades you have. Like if you say I have 90% or I have overall A or B, you know, grades. You don't need to mention everything, but or you can talk about your GPA, you know, so you can just.
Because it's not yet finalized, so that's why.
Yeah, I understand. So I mean, you just say I'm doing very well. Just okay. Shortly. So this is also about giving confidence to the officer that you are really deserving. I mean, if you are in the C, I'm still happy for you because you are passing, but don't talk about it. So it's not okay. Like to be ashamed of it. It's even like some courses are really tough, you know, so, and you know that. So as long as you are passing and you're progressing in your, if you have C's, just say I'm progressing in my classes and I'm getting toward the completion of my program. And now I'm at the step of getting a co-op placement. And especially in engineering, I know people are really doing a lot of effort, you know, and I'm not discrediting other program, but if you still have, you know, C, just you can put it as a positive, you know, remark. I'm progressing toward the completion of my study, and now I'm at the step of getting the co-op placement. But again, if you have A's, just by all means, just say it. So it's.
I don't have to attach the screenshot of the grades or anything.
No, you don't have to.
Okay. And how long is the explanation letter?
How long is what?
The explanation letter.
One page. One page. Usually, one page is enough. Remember, these officers, they don't have a lot of time to process an application. If you write too much, the the information or the point you want to pass will be diluted. It will be missed. So what I do is always like the sentence that says what I want, I put it in bold. I would like to receive a co-op or permit, bold, and then the blah, blah behind it also, or around it. Like 1-2 paragraph, and I will say the explanation letter will be really to explain. I have been refused a visa to the US, and this year I applied to enter and I was refused because I missed a document or whatever. So just short and concise, about what happened and why you need to explain. Yeah. If you have any doubt, look, if you have any doubt about what you're doing, get a meeting with us. We'll try our best to have time for you, but this is the extra, this is to make the application better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one last question, because you said we had to print and then sign the forms, but like at the beginning of the application, it says that at the end, we're going to be provided a digital signature, and that's the only part we need to sign.
Yeah, so I'm telling you the way where you don't have any refusals. My trust with Ircc goes by the rule. I'm not taking any, if it's a gray area, I will tell you this is a gray area. But why? For a simple technical part, we will miss or delay an application. So I don't want an officer to come back to you with like this family information is missing a signature, sign it and bring it to me. So we're missing like 2 to 4 weeks additionally to that. You see, it's most likely will not happen because of this, but to me, if their Ircc wants to simplify things, we should not be entering your names like 5 times, in different forms, and the names of your parents and all of this, like there's a lot of repetition. But for the sake of completeness, that form, the family information, print it, sign it, as I mentioned in the video, like in the presentation, it's just to avoid, it's gonna cost you like 5-7 minutes of your life, and you will have that peace of mind. And I'm telling you this because I got a refusal, and this happened maybe twice in the past 9 years, but when it happens to you, you don't like it, it's gonna be really very frustrating.
So every form that requests a signature, I print it, I sign it, I submit it, and at the end I also do a digital signature. No.
So let me be clear to everybody here.
Only
so
the family?
Yeah, we have 2 forms here for
Okay.
clarity. So we have 5710, IMM 5710, that one you don't print it. That one you just download it the way I said, you open it with a PDF reader and you fill it. Once it's full, you validate the form. Once it's validated, you save it. You do not print it. In the signature part, you just type your name. You just type your name before saving it, before validating. And once it's done, you upload the form as it is. There is no printing and signing by hand. The IMM 5707, the family information form, that one, you fill it electronically. And at the end, once it's full, filled completely, then you print it in paper, you sign the 3 sections. If that is the case, you sign the 3 sections, and then you scan it and upload it. So you have 2 different forms. One you do print and sign, which is the family information. Sorry, and the main one you don't.
And in the first one, which in the signature part, I just put my name. I put it just as I put it at the beginning, right?
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah. When in the first form where I just have to put my name, I write it just as it is at the beginning of the form.
No, you write it twice. You write it in the beginning of the form where talking about your name, identity, but also in the box in the signature, the last.
No, yeah, but
page.
I write it exactly as it is at the beginning of the form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you for the questions. It's very, very, very important to ask them. Okay, so I think we're done. So Alexandra, yes, you can stop the recording. I will say bye to everyone and see you soon.